What is going on, everybody? FJC here, back with another Spectre Divide video, and today we're going to be talking about the Bloom sponsor in Spectre Divide and why I believe it's one of the best sponsors in the game and definitely the best support sponsor to use. If you guys haven't watched my previous video about the Mew sponsor, definitely give that a look because this video is kind of a part 2. But in that video, I pretty much talked about why I believe the Mew sponsor is definitely a viable option in the game, but in my opinion, I do think that Bloom is definitely one of the better options in the game out of all the 8 sponsors, and especially when you're picking the support class, it's either Bloom or Mew in the current state of the game, and in my opinion, you definitely want to lean towards Bloom. Before we continue on with the video though, guys, do me a favor and make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you are enjoying the content, and make sure you turn on post notifications to stay notified with the channel's uploads. As well, make sure you are following my Twitch, as I've been streaming Spectre Divide practically 7 days a week. I usually start my stream around 11 a.m. Eastern, so an hour after this video premieres. And lastly, make sure you are following my TikTok for all kinds of short form content. With all that out of the way, let's start talking about what gadgets or utility we do get with the Bloom sponsor. So with Bloom Technologies, you get a Hex Barrier, Twin Mend, and the Swarm Grenade. The Hex Barrier, you deploy a barrier that blocks bullets. The barrier is made of 4 sectors with 150 health each and takes 30 seconds to recharge. Now, I like using the Hex Barrier a lot when crossing bomb sites because it's just an extra layer of protection. I also like putting a Hex Barrier in front of me, for example, on mill for mid. I like putting it down mid and then shoulder peeking it. That way, if I do see anybody, they also can't get a lucky one tap on me. I just personally think the deployable Hex Barrier has a lot of potential for offense and defense and can be utilized very, very well. And if you compare it to the rechargeable skill that Mew gets, which is definitely extremely useful, but I do think that the Hex Barrier has a lot more potential to protect your teammates. The Mew bot also takes a decent amount of time to place and follows a specific path, or if you place it in your specific area, it's very easily noticeable. So while both rechargeable skills are completely different, I do find that the Hex Barrier has a lot more potential to actually keep your teammates alive and save them. The next skill we're going to be looking at is the Twin Mend, which I think is extremely useful and is one of the main reasons why Bloom is so good. With the Twin Mend, you heal a damaged ally and their Spectre for 80 health. They do have to be within your line of sight, so do keep that in mind. As well, if you right click, you can also heal yourself for 40 HP and your Spectre at the same time over the span of 10 seconds for the both of them. So at least for me, Twin Mend is definitely one of my main reasons for picking the Bloom sponsor. Having the ability to either heal yourself or your teammates on the fly while you guys are rushing is extremely useful. Yes, it does take a little bit of time, 10-second span, but healing your teammates for 80 HP over 10 seconds in a game like Spectre Divide can make or break a round. When comparing Twin Mend to the Mew's heal bot, the heal bot is completely free and the Twin Mend does cost money. But with the Twin Mend, you also get a max of 2 uses that can also stack the amount of HP that you heal your teammates with. So if your teammate is very lit up to the point where he's 1 HP, you can double up on the healing to make it go a little bit faster and give him as much HP as possible. As well, like I mentioned, as long as your teammate is in your line of sight, you will be able to heal them. So when rushing a bomb site, this is much more useful than the Mew bot in my opinion, because it can happen on the fly so quickly. And the last skill that we're going to talk about today for Bloom is going to be the Swarm Grenade, which I think in Spectre Divide is one of the most useful skills in the entire game as a whole, but specifically for the Bloom Technologies class, makes it one of the best. The Swarm Grenade is a grenade that releases a swarm of bees. The swarm blocks vision and damages enemies for 100 health over 12 seconds. So not only is this a damageable grenade, it also acts like a jet smoke from Valorant, creating a bubble that if the enemies enter into, will deal 100 damage over 12 seconds. So you have an offensive and a defensive grenade all in one. And all these skills tied together is, in my opinion, why Bloom is one of the best sponsors that you could use in the game. And to tell you the truth, the fact that this sponsor isn't locked behind endorsements or a paywall genuinely surprises me. I think as a support class in Spectre Divide, this is definitely the one that you want to use between Mew and Bloom. The fact that this is unlocked right when you start the game is also very useful to know. Majority of the successful team comps that I've gone against or seen on streams have utilized some form of a smoke. And like I mentioned earlier, the fact that this can be used as an offensive or a defensive smoke is extremely useful. You can honestly smoke the bomb off so that way they can't enter in to defuse, and you can sit inside the smoke yourself and you won't take damage. Combine that with the Hex Barrier that can allow your team to cross without taking potential damage or even dying, and the Twin Men, which allows you to heal yourself and your teammates on the fly without necessarily having to stop moving. You just have to make sure that your teammates are in your line of sight. And the fact that the Twin Men also not only heals your main character but also heals your Spectre if he is low is extremely useful, because that can make or break a round. So you guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the Bloom sponsor, and if you think there are any better sponsors for you to use in Spectre Divide, let me know down there. I do really appreciate all the love and support from you guys since I've started streaming Spectre Divide daily. I do want to be one of the biggest content creators for the game, so hopefully the game has some more success and we can keep up on the grind. Do me a favor, leave a like on the video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and make sure those post notifications are turned on once again. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Much love.